Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brendan Gillen. Bonjour, messieurs, dames. Je m'appelle Brendan Gillen. Je vous souhaite, au nom de l'Université McGill, la bienvenue à la collation des grades 2018 de la Faculté de droit. So let me welcome you on behalf of McGill University to the Convocation Ceremony 2018 for the Faculty of Law. The ceremony will start shortly. There will be a few preliminary words I'd like to share with you. Dans quelques instants, je vous soulignerai plusieurs moments importants dans le déroulement de la cérémonie. So in a few moments, I'll just go over briefly some of the major points in the ceremony. But before I do so, I'd like to ask you to join me in giving a warm round of applause for the Brian Sand Quintet. La cérémonie commencera avec l'entrée du cortège d'honneur et terminera avec sa sortie. Au moment de son entrée, je vais vous demander de vous lever. So the ceremony will begin with the entrance of the platform party and will end with its departure. And when the platform party arrives, I'll ask you all to stand. Une fois le cortège est installé sur la tribune, Tracy Smith-Bissett chantera l'hymne de l'université. So once the platform's party is settled into their positions on the stage and the platform, Tracy Smith-Bissett will sing the university hymn. Le chancelier Michael Meehan, aussi bien que la principale Suzanne Fortier, vous adresseront chacun un bref discours suivi par l'allocution de l'honorable Juanita Westmoreland Traoré, qui aura tout juste reçu un doctorat honoris causa. The Chancellor and the Principal will each say a few words, and then there will be the convocation address by our honorary doctorate, the Honorable Juanita Westmoreland Traoré. We can do a second round of applause. Après la remise des diplômes, la secrétaire générale Edith Rogowska prononcera quelques mots de clôture et Tracy Smith-Bissett chantera l'hymne national. So once the diplomas have been conferred upon the graduates, the Secretary General Edith Rogowska will say a few words, and the ceremony will close with Tracy Smith-Bissett singing the national anthem. Le cortège d'honneur partira en premier, suivi par les diplômés, en commençant par l'avant et en passant vers l'arrière. So the ceremony will end with the platform party leaving, followed by the recently diplomaed students going out, starting with the first row and working towards the back. J'invite le doyen adjoint des étudiants, Glenn Zabowski, à vous informer des mesures de sécurité mises en place dans l'éventualité très peu probable d'une urgence. I now invite the Associate Dean of Students, Glenn Zabowski, to apprise you of those steps put in place in the very, very unlikely event of an emergency.
Bienvenue à McGill. Welcome to McGill and to Convocation 2018. It seems like everybody is in very good spirits today. What a receptive audience. I know it's a little on the hot side, but better than rain, right? We're so pleased that you have joined us here today. Congratulations on the success of your graduating friend or family member. I know that a lot of work has gone into them being here today, so this is truly a special milestone for them this afternoon. My name is Glenn Zabowski. I'm the Associate Dean of Students here at McGill University. And as Brandon said, my role is to just briefly talk to you about our evacuation procedures just in the very rare event that we do have an emergency. My other hat here at McGill is a statistics professor, so I know a bit about probability theory. An emergency is very unlikely, but we want to make sure everybody is taken care of just in case, right? A lot of smart people have put in a lot of hard work to make sure this event is a very safe event for you to attend. Si une évacuation des lieux devenait nécessaire, le registraire en fera l'annonce. Vous devrez alors quitter la tente sans tarder. If an evacuation is required, the registrar will make an announcement. You will then be required to leave the tent immediately. And then please do the following. Follow the instructions of our security officers and ushers. Please don't follow the graduates. They'll be safe and evacuated to a different location. Ushers and security officers will guide you either to the field across the street or to a designated evacuation position. The colored lines on the roadway outside the tent correspond to the color of your chair and lead to your designated evacuation position. We're going to ask that you leave all baby strollers behind, but I'm going to certainly remind you to take all your children with you. You may refer to the evacuation map at the back of your program for more information. If you need assistance, certainly please reach out to an usher or a security officer. Once the emergency is over, announcements will be made at any evacuation sites to inform you of what will happen next. Of course, we'll always have up-to-date information on our website at www.mcgill.ca. Je vous remercie de votre attention. Passez une journée inoubliable et encore une fois, félicitations aux diplômés. Thank you for your attention. Have a wonderful afternoon. And once again, congratulations. The platform party has been signaled to depart. They're going to be joining us shortly. We just have a 2-minute video for you to watch, and then you're going to hear the bagpipes.
Gracia. I did honors in Latin American Studies and International Development.
My name is Akil Varani and I'm a visual artist and graphic designer based in Montreal.
Je m'appelle Guillaume Drouin-Garneau, je suis ancien de McGill. J'ai gradué en 2012.
Once I graduated, I really wanted to find a way to stay connected with the university. I did some research and found the McGill Women's Alumni Association. It really spoke to me because of their mission to highlight what female grads have been contributing to the community.
Ma participation au sein du club cycliste de McGill, je pense qu'on est une super belle gang, puis encore aujourd'hui, on voit des anciens, des jeunes qui sont étudiants, puis on fait des sorties ensemble, on partage une passion. Donc...
I've spoken at homecoming events, the McGill Young Alumni Association.
How I got involved with the mentor-mentee program with the McGill Alumni Association was actually I was trying to find a way to give my time to McGill.
I definitely recommend any mentorship program, whether it's having a connection to other people or advice from someone who's been through it.
Through McGill Connect, I was introduced to this global network of McGill alumni who I had something in common with. I made the decision that London, England would be best for me to kickstart my career.
I want to wish the graduating class all the best of luck.
This is the beginning of a very exciting new chapter in your life.
Bonne chance à tous, je vous souhaite du succès dans vos projets futurs. Have fun, enjoy the ride, and be patient.
So we'll be starting shortly. Just a reminder to either better turn off, but at least put your cell phone on vibration mode. And as a courtesy to everyone else, may I encourage people not to give in to the temptation of going onto their phones. And also when we line up, the people who are lining up for diplomas, if you could just make sure you pay attention because it gets kind of congested over there, and so we try to get you up and as quickly as possible and organized, so if you just pay attention when you're moving. So the platform party will be arriving shortly, and part of the drama is to sit here in a little bit of silence and strain your ears to hear the bagpipes. So we'll sit here in silence for a moment or two We won't be but a moment or two. It was supposed to be a 15-second pregnant pause. It's turned into a 30-second pregnant pause, but may I ask everyone to rise? Levez-vous, s'il vous plaît.
Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir. Thank you, Dr. Smith-Bassett. Good afternoon, students, families, and friends. As Chancellor and on behalf of McGill University, I welcome you today to our beautiful downtown campus to celebrate the class of 2018 and the students graduating from the Faculty of Law. Bon après-midi à tous les diplômés, proches et amis. À titre de chancelier et au nom de l'Université McGill, je vous souhaite la bienvenue sur notre magnifique campus du centre-ville, afin de célébrer la cérémonie de collation des grades 2018 et de souligner les réalisations des diplômés de la Faculté de droit. Let me begin by offering my sincere congratulations to all of you. En cette journée mémorable, c'est un immense bonheur pour moi d'être ici et de vivre avec vous cette étape importante de votre vie. Now, I have a keen appreciation of the importance of this day and the memories that you will keep of this moment throughout your life. Once upon a time, when dinosaurs ruled the land, I was sitting where you were sitting, as part of a graduating class at McGill. And I took much the same journey as you to arrive at this day. Although in my case, I remember calling my friends with a rotary dial phone, writing essays on a typewriter, and taking my graduation photos with a film camera. Some considerable time later, I returned to McGill as the parent of 2 graduates. And like all parents here today, I was beaming with pride. Et maintenant, à titre de chancelier, j'ai le privilège d'assister aux cérémonies de collation des grades chaque année. Nous pouvons donc affirmer, sans crainte de nous tromper, que ces cérémonies n'ont plus de secret pour moi. And whether as a graduate or a parent or a chancellor, the occasion remains a richly deserved celebration of hard work, commitment, sacrifice, and achievement. So bravo and well done to each and every one of you. Now, one of the great traditions of Convocation is, of course, for older people like myself to offer advice to younger people like you. And make no mistake, like most older people, I do enjoy giving advice. But I thought this year I'd turn the tradition on its head and do something different. I think the term is disruptive. The fact is, I think the class of 2018 has a lot of good advice for me and for others of my vintage. So I'm going to take this occasion to tell you about some of the things I've learned from you over these past few years. I've learned that if you have a good idea, you can act on it very quickly. It could be starting a new business venture, or helping your community, or rallying people around a worthy cause. There are many, many examples in this audience of graduates who have taken action, use social media, crowdfunding, and other tools to make good things happen. I've also learned that traditional fields of study or expertise, or even experience, don't pigeonhole students or restrict their initiatives. On the contrary, our graduates are probably the most connected class in the history of McGill. You routinely reach out across disciplines, fields of study, campuses, the community, and even time zones to meet, collaborate, and work with others. And I've learned that no person or community, no community in need, is off limits to the compassion of our graduates. You dedicate your time and volunteer your efforts to myriad causes: devastated communities, wrongfully convicted Canadians, environmental challenges, student caregivers, mental health, the plight of the homeless, patients in local hospitals, your fellow students, and many, many more. These are great qualities, and I could easily step down now and say thank you. I'm sure that's probably what you wish I'd do. But as Chancellor, I'm contractually obligated to add my 2 cents. So to these core qualities, I'd add a very few traditional non-disruptive suggestions for your consideration. You may find that even at the speed of internet, you can run into roadblocks or hurdles, often in the form of rules or a process. Those hurdles slow things down and can be very frustrating. Sometimes being patient can seem like a waste of time, but be patient anyway. Being patient doesn't mean being complacent. It just means taking a longer route to get to your final destination. Sometimes the desire to achieve a goal or make your voice known can run into opposition or contrary points of view. When you have a strong viewpoint, compromise may be the last thing you want to do, but compromise anyway. Sometimes when you don't get exactly what you want, you end up getting exactly what is required. Compromise sure isn't perfect, but it often works pretty well. And sometimes the age of social media can render you absolutely furious at people who shout you down or reduce debate to insults. That can make you so angry you can't imagine showing your enemies the least bit of kindness. But be kind anyway. A world based on escalating anger and intolerance isn't really much of a world. Sometimes you have to back away from harsh words and outrage in order to make a better, more compassionate society. And our world needs more, much more thoughtful discourse, more room for diverse voices, more tolerance and understanding, more kind words and less rancor. Il y a quelques années, alors qu'un bon nombre d'entre vous amorçaient leur parcours universitaire, les poètes canadiens Patrick Lane et Lorna Crozier recevaient un doctorat honorifique de l'Université McGill. Ils ont prononcé leur allocution sous forme de poème et demandé aux nouveaux diplômés « Où trouverez-vous maintenant ce qui nourrira votre existence ?» I think much of what you've learned over the past years can and will sustain you. Your knowledge, your friendships, your experience, and yes, your connection to McGill. So do keep finding ways to share your creativity with others. Do act on good ideas and good intentions. Do keep your hearts open to your friends and your supporters here at McGill. Because wherever you go in this world, this will always be your home. And we'll always cheer your successes and accomplishments. So stay in touch, not just today, but throughout your journey as a McGill graduate. I hope this day is both a joyous ending and an auspicious beginning for you all. And thanks very much for all your good advice. Merci. J'aimerais maintenant inviter la principale, Suzanne Fortier, à s'adresser à l'auditoire. Madame Fortier.
Bienvenue aux finissants de 2018. Welcome, the graduating class of 2018. I'm joined here today by your families and your friends, by our Chancellor, the Chair of the Board, our governors, by our distinguished honorary degree recipient, award recipient, by special guests and esteemed colleagues. We are here together to say how proud we are of you and of everything that has brought you here today. C'est pour nous tous un immense bonheur de vous féliciter pour vos accomplissements et pour votre persévérance. Today is a very special day. Take time to celebrate. And also take time to look around you. You know, there are a lot of people here who have been there for you from day one, who have been rooting for you from day one. This is a very special day for them too. So I will ask the class of 2018 to please stand up, because you will give a big round of applause to all those people. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take time also to celebrate and to be grateful for the great gift that has been given to each one of us. Human intelligence. You know, there's a lot of talk these days about intelligence, in particular about artificial intelligence. It seems that no days goes by before we see or hear these two letters, AI. En effet, ce qui semblait être de la science-fiction il n'y a pas très longtemps fait maintenant partie de nos vies quotidiennes. Des machines, des robots capables de réaliser des tâches que seuls les êtres humains pouvaient réaliser dans le passé. Des algorithmes capables d'analyser des vastes quantités de données et d'en tirer des connaissances. Des logiciels avancés qui peuvent même anticiper nos désirs. In the not-so-distant future, it may likely be commonplace for humans to share the roads with driverless cars, to be treated by autonomous surgical robots, to learn through an immersive virtual reality environment. And indeed, many worry about the impact that AI will have on our lives. How will it change the way we work, connect to each other, and live? Will it displace us? Will it make us irrelevant? Will it accentuate the disparity of opportunity and wealth in our world? And at a deeper level, how will AI affect humanity and ethical behavior? Ce sont là des questions très importantes à nous poser, en particulier si on veut bâtir un avenir bénéfique pour l'humanité. Et malgré les possibilités de scénarios négatifs, je dois vous dire que moi, j'imagine un avenir plein d'espoir et de potentiel. Et je maintiens cette perspective parce que je crois fermement aux qualités uniques de l'intelligence humaine. Throughout history, we've been awed and inspired by visionaries who could imagine new realities and new universes beyond anything that we could observe. Think, for example, of Albert Einstein and the theory of relativity, or Margaret Atwood, the great Canadian writer, and her book, The Handmaid's Tale. Right here at McGill, think of the legendary neuropsychologist Brenda Milner, who decoded some of the finer intricacies of the human brain without the help of the high-tech equipment we have today. But for progress to be positive, it must come from a place of thoughtful reflection, environmental awareness, and of social responsibility. Using all the attributes of the complex human mind, not only logical reasoning, but also emotional intelligence, creativity, and compassion, we can take action to help create inclusive and caring communities. And again, we can draw from example set by inspiring members of our own community. Think of Charles Taylor, the great philosopher, or the head of Médecins Sans Frontières, Dr. Joanne Liu. In a few moments, we'll be honoring another very inspiring person, and that is the Honorable Juanita Westmoreland Traore. throughout her impressive career, her steadfast commitment to equity, diversity, and social justice has helped make institutions in Montreal and across Canada more inclusive and responsive to the needs of marginalized populations. Like so many in the McGill community, Justice Westmoreland Traore has put her intelligence at the service of society to nurture progressive future, positive future. And I believe that each one of you, in your own way, will use your intelligence to do the same. You're asking bold questions. You're using all facets of human intelligence to answer them. You're engaging with complex problems, taking action, getting ready for leadership, and you're connected to your community, near and far, and you're eager to make a positive impact. This new revolution driven by AI will not define you. You will define it. And as you enter this new chapter of your life, please do keep in touch. J'espère que vous considérez toujours l'Université McGill comme votre maison parce que vous êtes maintenant partie, vous faites partie maintenant de cette belle grande famille qu'est notre Université McGill. Alors félicitations, congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Fortier. We'll now proceed with the presentation of the Teaching Award. I invite Professor Danielle Jutras to present the winner of the John W. Durnford Teaching Excellence Award, and I invite Professor Rosalie Jukier to please stand and join the principal at center stage for the presentation ceremony.
Madam Vice Chancellor, allow me to introduce Professor Rosalie Jukier so that she may be recognized as this year's recipient of the John W. Durnford Teaching Excellence Award. This award is presented annually to the professor who has achieved the highest standards in teaching over the past 12 months. In a great university like McGill, there are many kinds of teachers. There are those who do their best in the classroom, and there are those who would rather be elsewhere. And then there are those who give the act of teaching everything they've got, every ounce of their being, every last bit of their energy. Rosalie Jukier is of the latter variety. Her students agree, quote, Professor Jukier is an engaged and passionate lecturer. She has created the blueprint which other professors should follow, end quote. Or quote, she is absolutely phenomenal and is a role model of teaching and mentorship excellence, end quote. Rosalie Jukier enseigne à McGill depuis 1985. Ses outils ont changé au fil des ans, du tableau noir à PowerPoint, en passant par le rétroprojecteur et les polycopiers. Mais ses qualités restent les mêmes depuis toujours. L'organisation méthodique, la passion, la rigueur analytique, la volonté de se réinventer et la capacité d'aller à l'essentiel des choses. Everything she does manifests her unflinching desire to inspire and uplift each one of her students. This distinguished award for teaching excellence has been in existence for over 25 years. Professor Jukier has received it twice already. Only one professor, now retired, has ever received it 3 times. Rosalie Jukier has many more years of teaching ahead of her. Madam Vice Chancellor, I predict that at some point we might have to change the name of the award in honor of Rosalie Jukier. Until then, Professor Jukier will remain a model for us all.
Thank you, Professor Jutras. McGill is honored today to celebrate the achievements of the Honorable Juanita Westmoreland Traore. I invite Professor Robert Leckie, Dean of the Faculty of Law, to present our distinguished guest so that she may have conferred upon her the highest recognition that it is within the power of this university to grant. And I ask Judge Westmoreland Traore to please stand and join me at center stage for the presentation of the honorary degree.
Monsieur le Chancelier, je vous présente l'honorable Juanita Westmoreland Traore. Sa vie incarne le dévouement à l'accès à la justice et la passion pour la justice. Elle a été la première personne d'origine africaine à être nommée juge au Québec, à la Cour du Québec. Elle a également été la première personne d'origine africaine à être nommée au poste de doyen ou de doyenne dans une faculté de droit au Canada à l'Université de Windsor. La juge Westmoreland Traore détient un diplôme en droit de l'Université de Montréal ainsi qu'un doctorat d'État de l'Université de Paris II. Pendant les années 70, alors qu'elle pratiquait le droit à temps partiel, elle enseignait également à l'Université de Montréal. Elle s'est jointe plus tard au département des sciences juridiques de l'Université du Québec à Montréal, devenant ainsi l'un des premiers membres du corps professoral. La juge Westmoreland Traore a travaillé sans relâche à la défense des droits du public, notamment à titre de membre du conseil d'administration de l'Office de protection des consommateurs du Québec, comme commissaire pour la Commission canadienne des droits de la personne et comme première présidente du Conseil des communautés culturelles et de l'immigration du Québec. En Ontario, elle a été la première commissaire à l'équité en matière d'emploi. À l'étranger, elle a siégé au conseil d'administration de Africa Educational Trust en Afrique du Sud, a fait des missions d'observation en Haïti et a travaillé dans ce pays comme conseillère juridique pour la Commission de justice et vérité. Elle est bien connue dans le milieu communautaire depuis de nombreuses années, particulièrement au sein de Centre de Montréal et du Fonds d'action et d'éducation juridique pour les femmes, Women's Legal Education and Action Fund, LEAF. Officière de l'Ordre national du Québec, elle a reçu de nombreuses distinctions, notamment du Barreau du Québec et de l'Association du Barreau canadien. En 2017, le Barreau de l'Ontario lui a décerné un doctorat honorifique. Judge Westmoreland Traore has strong connections to McGill's Faculty of Law, where she recently taught a Focus Week elective course on the social context of sentencing. She has acted as a mentor and source of inspiration to generations of law students and law professors in our faculty and others, including young men and women of color. In 2012, our Center for Human Rights and Legal Pluralism held a two-day conference in recognition of her steadfast commitment to equity. It's an honor to pay further tribute to the deep impact she has had locally, nationally, and internationally in making our institutions more inclusive and responsive to the needs of those they serve. Mr. Chancellor, I present to you the Honorable Juanita Westmoreland Traore so that you may confer on her the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
I now invite Judge Westmoreland Traore, a colleague and friend for more years than either of us would like to count, to deliver the Convocation address. Judge Westmoreland Traore.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chancellor. Chancellor Meehan, Principal and Vice Chancellor Suzanne Fortier, Mr. Panda, Chair of the Board of Governors, members of the Platform Party, friends, proud parents, guests, and most of all, the graduating class of 2018. I'm very honored to address you this afternoon, but I want to begin by saying that if I have received this honor and other honors which have been mentioned this afternoon, it's because of the strong support, encouragement, and love of my family, my community, the broader community, and students such as yourselves. I'm happy in particular to be here this afternoon for the reasons given by Chancellor Meehan and the Vice Chancellor, because I've had the experience to know some of the graduating class more directly during courses and as an invited lecture. So this is special to me. I know how special it is to you, and I thank you for inviting me. Congratulations on this very momentous event in your life. I know you worked very hard for this achievement, and you deserve every moment of the day. Both you, your parents, and your significant others. I'm proud, too, that my family is here. My husband, Ishmael Traore, who's one of the most patient persons in this world. My uncle, Dr. Randolph Estwick, a fellow of the American College of Physicians, obviously, and family, who traveled from New York to be with us here. He knew my father very well, and so it's significant that he's here in a way in the stead of my dad. My dad was very special. He would encourage me, but also he taught me that whether as a minority or racialized girl in Quebec, or as a girl simply, I should never be discouraged, and that I could do what I would desire, provided I worked hard. He was before his time, especially considering the condition of women. So I'm surrounded also by my mother, for whom I'm very grateful, my two sons, and my nephew Tafare, an aspiring lawyer. May I say that my son Mangali is a McGill graduate, class of '94, but I'll just say science. So he strayed. You must savor and enjoy these moments because it goes downhill from here. No, that's not what it is. Rather, experience tells us that your professional career will be filled with ups and downs, and there may even be moments when you question whether you should have studied law. But I say to you, if your message is clear, if your purpose is defined, and if you hold fast to your principles and work steadily toward your goal, you will succeed. You're now fully qualified, except for a little detour called the bar school, like Col du Barreau. You are fully qualified to make important decisions concerning your future. Cette cérémonie de convocation est une période pendant laquelle vous pouvez reconsidérer vos ententes, votre compréhension et vos principes. Pendant les moments de crise, nos buts et nos objectifs deviennent plus importants et aussi ils deviennent plus définis et plus clairs. Chacun de vous doit décider aujourd'hui et demain quel sera votre objectif ultime. Pour certains, c'est plus clair que pour d'autres. It was always clear, perhaps for me, and in this way, perhaps simpler, because as a Canadian and a Quebecer, and as a woman of African descent, my destiny was intertwined with the emancipation and equality of Afro-descendants, both in Canada and abroad. As you know, this decade, 2015 to 2024, has been declared by the United Nations for the international community as a decade recognizing that people of African descent represent a distinct group whose human rights must be promoted and protected. Around 200 million people identifying themselves as being of African descent live in the Americas. Many millions more live in other parts of the world outside the African continent. Progress occurs through the coalescence of forces of all of goodwill in a timely and purposeful manner, necessarily under enlightened and consensual leadership. Mes grands-parents des deux côtés étaient nés en Guyane. Mon grand-père paternel avait une épicerie ici dans la petite Bourgogne. À ce moment, on disait Saint-Henri, avec un salon de coiffure en arrière. Et j'ose dire, il y avait d'autres activités qui se tenaient également en arrière. Il avait aussi, selon ce qu'on m'a raconté, une ferme dans la région de l'Ottawa. Et quand j'étais petite, il semblait que je montais à cheval. Je n'ose plus le faire, mais à ce moment, oui. He sponsored my dad, who began by making deliveries in the freezing cold, to which he was not accustomed. My maternal grandmother was a teacher in Guyana, but had no choice but to do domestic work when she arrived here. She sponsored my mom in 1928. Like other immigrants, they struggled daily, along with other family members, friends, and neighbors, to feed and educate their children. Education was all important. Religion was also central, a militant and syncretic religion, grounded in service to community, welfare, and security. You've probably noticed how so many soul singers, jazz, and popular singers got their first training in the Black church. The experience of my family in a segregated job market was not unique to African Canadians, but shared by many other immigrant communities. Housing was also problematic, with overt discrimination. To a greater degree, and before my ancestors arrived, it was the experience of First Nations people in Canada. What was not common with many others, however, were the racist taunts, even assault, which I experienced personally, from little boys mainly, calling me names and throwing rocks as I went to school and later on my way to work on the avenue where I was born. I won't tell you when I was born, but I am a child of the 60s, a part of the civil rights movement, a period of marching, praying, sitting in, organizing, boycotting, confrontation, unarmed students, pastors, others of goodwill, black and white, although predominantly black, battling against outwardly racist and vicious attackers, policemen, and vicious dogs. Mahatma Gandhi, the apostle of nonviolence and non-cooperation when necessary, the inspiration of the Christian Southern leadership movement of Martin Luther King, Reverend Martin Luther King, which I would someday like to talk more about, taught us in his sublime simplicity, Mahatma Gandhi did, and I quote, that non-cooperation with evil is as much a duty as cooperation with good. This was his declaration during a trial at Ahmedabad, March 10, 1922. As students, some of you demonstrated and raised consciousness about access to higher education or sexual harassment on university campuses, published reviews, or convened press conferences and organized. Some of your leaders were arrested and jailed temporarily. You may have learned that in the 60s, student leaders were not only jailed, but also threatened, and unfortunately some killed. A recent film by James Baldwin, I Am Not Your Negro, bears viewing for the poignant story and witness that he gives. Today, the emergence of movements such as Black Lives Matter here in Montreal reflect the condition of some racialized minorities which continue to be over-policed, arrested, jailed, and punished disproportionately. A condition again chronicled by a young Montreal author, Robin Maynard, Policing Black Lives, State of Violence in Canada. This is a Fern publication, 2017. Unfortunately, in some countries, brothers are sometimes jailed at time of arrest and sometimes basically lose their life. An authoritative work is obviously Professor Dave Austin, Fear of a Black Nation, Race, Sex, and Security in the 60s Montreal, published in 2013. Those of you who have studied criminal law analyzed cases which declared recent sections of the narcotics legislation imposing minimum sentences, that they are cruel in some instances, cruel and unusual, and therefore against our charter and unconstitutional. But these laws increased the prison population of Afro-descendants from 1970 to 1995 here in Canada by tenfold, as documented in the report on systemic discrimination in the Ontario criminal justice system. It is not possible for me to continue as if I'm in a lecture hall, but I did want to raise these important matters with you and leave them with you. The Quebec Human Rights Commission published a report on racial profiling in Quebec, which concerns educational institutions, health, housing, and justice. And one of your professors, Professor Blackett, was a member of that Human Rights Commission at the time. Recommendations of the Bastarache Commission on the appointments process of provincially appointed judge pointedly addresses underrepresentation of minorities in the Quebec judiciary, incorporating several recommendations of the submission of the Quebec Bar Association. In the 70s here in Montreal, during the FLQ trials, women marched for the right to be members of juries. We were told that jury duty was a burden and women should be spared. Other women won amendments to the Canadian Criminal Code eliminating the strictures of therapeutic committees. We marched for the rights of Chantal Daigle and other women to obtain timely and safe abortions. Your parents will remember the occupation of the computer center at Sir George Williams University, now Concordia University, where 8 Black students protested disparate treatment that they alleged against a professor whom they accused of racist practices. I was one of the attorneys, and we represented many of the 100 students arrested, including minors who appeared in youth court. In a recent, well, not so recent now, Supreme Court precedent, RDS, the Supreme Court of Canada revised the standard for impartiality, declaring that the reasonable approach of bias refers to a reasonable person who is presumed to be knowledgeable of the history of endemic racism in certain communities. Recent debates in Montreal concerned the removal of the name of General Amherst from Amherst Street because of his recommendations to massacre First Nations people by contaminating blankets to be offered to them. I believe understanding this history precedes and assists the reconciliation process by allowing the parties to more fully understand the hurt and injustice suffered by victims. Most reconciliation processes are founded first on truth-telling, or truth and justice, as in the Haitian Commission. Truth itself is a remedy, restoring honor and dignity to survivors and their families maligned as agitators or foreign agitators, which we were considered, political dissidents, subversives, or even traitors. While progress has occurred on many fronts, including the diversity which I observe in our colleges and universities and among those here in the graduating class, diversity on all grounds, genders, gender identification, the broadening of international internships incorporated in school and higher education programs, there still remains many sites of inequality. More awareness now occurs for people who suffer invisible handicaps, for people who are gay, lesbian, transgendered, or bisexual persons, queer persons, or persons who identify differently. But there is also greater awareness of the marginality of those who suffer multiple grounds of discrimination. As you know, our fundamental rights are more often assaulted today: freedom of opinion, freedom of the press, freedom to demonstrate, freedom to organize. Professor Thomas Pritchard, a French professor at l'École d'économie de Paris, a fait la démonstration que les écarts dans notre société, écarts de bien-être et de richesse, ils croissent plutôt que décroître. He concluded that the spiraling of the high earnings, and especially the extreme concentration of wealth, threatens values such as the merit principle and social justice in democratic societies, published in Paris, Seuil 2013. The rates of progression vary according to periods. However, whatever the period chosen, the structural rate of progression of the highest patrimonies or fortunes always appear much more rapid, at least twice as rapid than the growth of average revenue, average wealth accumulation. The rate of disparity, according to him, is spectacular. I need to conclude by explaining that education and justice have been mainstays in my life experience. I have always been renewed and inspired by my educational endeavors. Justice, human rights, equity, and peace have become now more popular pursuits, with women in all classes and countries, and with students and young people, racialized minorities, and members of the majority community. Recent studies interpret the concept of race as unscientific and as a social construct or perception which continues to perpetrate discrimination. As you can see, I am jumping over passages, but which I think sometimes add some balance to my presentation. However, I realize the sun is shining, and the reason we are here this afternoon is to honor you. I conclude, as I was myself taught, that the only realist is the optimist. History unfolds, not in a straight line, but advances nevertheless. And I encourage you to choose right over might. You know that our Canadian refugee policy has been studied by other countries because we've been inclusive in including collectives and groups of people who wish to involve and sponsor refugees so they may have a better life among us. Finally, without exhausting a list, those of you involved in environment are challenged by the recent withdrawal of the United States from the Paris Agreement to combat climate change. Each of you with your legal training is enabled to detect and intervene in different ways. Education, justice, distribution of wealth, and peace. Indeed, all are intertwined. Let me say that I endorse the ringing message of Chancellor Meehan for compromise and tolerance, and your Vice Chancellor's call to an inclusive society. I thank her for her kind words. We have noticed also your leadership, Vice Chancellor Fortier, in creating the independent investigator for sexual harassment complaints. Let me quote Audre Lorde in conclusion in her address to the Second Sex Conference in 1979, because it speaks truth and is appropriate in these circumstances for all of us. I quote, "Racism and homophobia are real conditions of all our lives in this place and this time. I urge each one of us here to reach down into that deep place of knowledge inside herself, and I add himself, and touch that terror and loathing of any difference that lives there. See whose face it wears. Then the personal and the political can begin to illuminate all our choices. Good luck to you. May the sun continue to shine upon you and your families.
Thank you, Dr. Westmoreland-Traoré. Thank you for those wise and inspiring words. Nous allons maintenant procéder à l'attribution des grades universitaires. J'invite le professeur Christopher Manfredi, vice-principal exécutif et vice-principal aux études, à entreprendre le déroulement officiel de la cérémonie. Professor Manfredi.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I am pleased to invite the students graduating from the Faculty of Law for the conferral of degrees. This is a truly momentous event in the cycle of university life, particularly at McGill, where we have such talented and accomplished students. Each student crossing the stage this afternoon will be greeted by the Chancellor, the Principal, or the Chair of the Board of Governors. Students receiving their first degree shall remove their mortarboard or hat. At center stage, they will be symbolically capped, signaling ceremonially the conferral of the degree. Students who have already earned a university degree keep their mortarboard on and will be congratulated by a tap on the shoulder. The parchment or degree itself is given to students after they have a photo taken and leave the stage. You may see some students wearing red or white scarves. All self-identifying Indigenous students, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, are entitled to wear graduation scars at Convocation, in the community, and at any and all future McGill events that they attend. The red scarf is for those receiving a degree, and white for those getting a diploma or certificate. The feather has two meanings: respect for the person and the mark of an amazing or special event. The Confederacy belt signifies attachment to and respect for the land on which we live, and the turtle symbolizes the inclusiveness of all nations and respect for diversity. It is fitting that we recognize our Indigenous graduates in this way, just as we recognize that McGill University is on land which long served as a site of meeting and exchange amongst Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge and thank the diverse Indigenous people whose presence has enriched this territory on which peoples of the world now gather. En vertu des pouvoirs qui me sont conférés par le Sénat de McGill, je déclare que les candidats dont le nom figure sur la liste officielle des diplômés de l'université, qu'ils soient présents ou absents, ont satisfait aux exigences de leur grade, diplôme ou certificat respectif. By virtue of the powers conferred upon me by McGill Senate, I declare that the candidates whose names appear on the university's official list of graduates, whether they be present or absent, have satisfied the requirements for their respective degrees, diplomas, or certificates. By tradition at McGill, we begin with students receiving graduate degrees, followed by students obtaining undergraduate degrees. I now invite Professor Rosalie Jukier to introduce the graduates, and Professor Leckie, Robert Leckie, Dean of the Faculty of Law, to congratulate all graduating students. Congratulations to the class of 2018. Félicitations.
Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to read the names of the students in this year's graduating class. Please note that prizes, scholarships, and honors earned by individual students are listed in your programs. Mr. Chancellor, for the degree of Doctor of Civil Law, Lee Joseph Black. Lucas Van Honecker. And for the degree of Master of Laws in Air and Space Law, Bayar Goswami. Aram Daniel Kerkonian. Fanny Munisami. And for the degree of Master of Laws in Law, Parissa Akbari Malkeshi. Sarah Alame. Huangran Li. Xiaolu Li. Laurence Saint-Pierre Harvey. Scott Allen Haynes Whitelaw. Chen Yan. Natasha Zuen. And for the Graduate Certificate in Air and Space Law, Aisha Mohammed Al-Hameli. Gilles Doucet. Mr. Chancellor, for the degrees of Bachelor of Civil Law and Bachelor of Laws, Linda Agaby. Nicodemo Agostino. Simone Abba Achianu. Sarah Aladas. Shireen Mortada Ali. Catherine Sarah Andrews. Kelsey Lee Angeli. Alexandre Arsenault. Margaret Patricia Henley Barrett. Leeson Barbara Bassett. Patrick Francois Beau. Lana Belber. Monica Erzsébet Berényi. Samuel Elliott Bick. Samuel Phipps Blair. Charles Étienne Bourdois. Benjamin Bruno. William Buckwell. André Capretti. Laura Cardenas. Nicolas Charret. Mariam Chauhan. Sami Sheib. Audrey Chiasson. Sin Si. Christophe Jacques Cinq-Mars Viau. Patrick Brent Clendenning. Jinta Kojo Karu. Brendan Keith Cook. Frederic Courchen Mackey. Nathan Cudiccio. Christopher Alfred de Souza. Chantel Alexis Lee Dallas. Andreas Stephen Alexander Dane. André Anne Dion. Benjamin Dion. Esther Dion Desbiens. Jonathan Patrick Doran. Alia Mohamed El Houni. Raif Hannibal El Motar. Denise Feltsina. Delia Isabel Fernandez Caban. Marie-Pierre Gauthier. Hannah Susanna Geis. Andrea Gomez Granados. Deborah Guterman. Ali Haji. Lauren Ashley Harper. Liam Wellington Harris, Amy Geoffrion Medal. Félix Olivier Hébert. Sayeda Hedarali. Émilie Orox Denis. Alexis Houdon. Hyacinthe Huguet. Susan Joan Humphrey. Nazem Paul Kaur Jaswal. Matthew Carroll. Rachel Ann Marguerite Kohut. Daniel Kirstak. Etienne Farmer Lacombe, Principal David L. Johnston Medal. Alizé Ladac. Vincent Lanctot-Fortier. Michael Brian Lang. Pierre Lantoine. Charles Pierre Larose Jaudoin. Anne Le Cavalier. Allison Heather Lee. Soo Jin Lee. Avra Levitan Cooper. Ivo Tobin Leopold. Xiaoyu Liu. Rebecca Lynn Louie. Tyson John Lowry. Kirsten Alexa Lundell Smith. Deron Clive Lurie. Jean-Sébastien McAdam. Camille Marceau. Jérôme Martineau McHenry. Camille Massé-Pfister. Cameron McKeach. Elspeth McMurray. Quentin Monpetit. Melissa Moore. Colleen Blythe Morowitz. Gregory Joseph Morrison. Amelia Mounsey. Andras Nagy. Brooke Neguse. Timothy Maher Aziz Nassim Elizabeth Torrance Gold Medal. Michel Aimé Or-Gaucher. Massimo Orsini. Simon Haransky. Alexandra Diane Persad. Lauren Heather Fizicki. Sean David Pierce. Maxime Adonias Pouliot. Zoé Pouliot-Massé. Catherine Eleanor Richardson Arnoux. Elizabeth Robertson. Elise Monique Rondeau. Florida Rushani. Véronique Saad. Samanthia Alexandria Samuels. Maxime Séguin Durand. Zachary Sheffman. Mac Thomas Singleton. Katrina Shirley Soul Collar. Yuan Stevens. Oleg Stratyev. Daniel Stisis. Jilan Syed. Maxime Labrosse. Mathieu Tachereau. Marlene Toffick. Allison Reed Taylor. Anna Thompson Amadei. Naira Toker. Dan Tontat. Renée Diane Toussignan. James Trugakis. Pierre-Philippe Turnbull. Thomas Gregor Vandenhugen. Dana Vantoff. Simon Veilleux. T. Anna Wang. Cameron Alexander Warshik. Miriam Wills Ibarra. Letitia Baya Yantren. Jens Joseph Zentil. And Ching Ching Zhou.
I now invite Ms. Susan Humphrey to say a few words on behalf of all graduating students as this year's valedictorian. Ms. Humphrey.
Monsieur le Chancelier, membres du cortège d'honneur, invités et chers diplômés. I would also like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered today on land which has long served as a place of meeting and exchange among Indigenous peoples, including the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe nations. It is a great privilege to be here today. C'est aussi un immense honneur que vous, chers collègues, m'avez accordé le privilège de prendre la parole à votre nom cet après-midi. Je vous remercie. Now, when I think back to what made McGill Law truly special, it was, perhaps surprisingly and undoubtedly to the dismay of our professors, not transsystemia, because I'm still not entirely clear on what that means. Nor was it the adrenaline rush that, hypothetically speaking, you might get if you were to say, finish an assignment a few minutes, or perhaps even mere seconds before the submission deadline. I swear, I never did this. It wasn't even the laughter that we all shared when we heard that current McGill Law students were going to be learning common law property and civil law property all in one big course. What a treat. Mais blague à part, c'est vraiment grâce à vous, chers collègues, que mes années à McGill ont été si exceptionnelles. De me compter parmi les membres d'une communauté si accueillante, solidaire et passionnée a été un des plus grands privilèges de ma vie. Privilege. Oh, we hear a lot about it these days. White privilege, male privilege, socioeconomic privilege, and with good reason. But this afternoon, I'd like to call our attention to the incredible educational privilege that we all now share as law graduates. C'est certain que nos études en droit n'ont pas toujours été faciles. Notre chemin a été long et parfois, peut-être souvent, détourné. Nous avons tous eu des hauts et des bas. Nous avons même, des fois, perdu de vue les raisons pour lesquelles nous avons choisi de devenir juristes. Mais ce qu'il ne faut surtout pas oublier, c'est qu'avoir une formation juridique, c'est un très grand privilège. Et selon moi, c'est un privilège qui s'associe avec certaines responsabilités, de très grandes responsabilités. Privilege. Some of us have come from it, and many of us have not. But from this moment forward, we are all joined by the fact that we are both blessed and burdened by the privilege that is our legal education. My hope for all of us is that we each find our own way to make good on this blessing and to meet our burden. Quelle que soit la façon que nous pratiquons le droit, nous partageons la responsabilité de mettre nos nouvelles compétences au service de quelque chose à l'extérieur de nous-mêmes. Whether it be mentoring the next generation of passionate young lawyers, taking on pro bono files to represent those most in need, or offering our skills to the organizations that serve our communities and those who are most vulnerable among us, each of us can do something. Each of us is now called upon to do something. J'espère sincèrement que nous garderons cela à l'esprit tout au long de nos carrières et de nos vies. Merci à tous et félicitations aux finissants de 2018.
Merci à Mme Humphrey. J'invite maintenant le doyen de la faculté de droit, M. Robert Lucky, à prendre la parole. Monsieur le doyen.
Congratulations, you made it. Whether it was with a master's, with or without thesis, a doctorate, or 105 credits of the BCL LLB, you did it. Your faces tell a story of relief, pride, and satisfaction. Thank you for sharing this joyous occasion with your professors and the administrative staff of the McGill Faculty of Law. Aujourd'hui, vous joignez un réseau international de diplômés de notre faculté. Vous quittez la maison, donc, mais pas la famille. Votre statut de membre de cette communauté enrichira toute votre vie professionnelle. La vie étant ce qu'elle est, vous verrez vos amis de la faculté beaucoup moins fréquemment dès aujourd'hui, quoique Facebook et LinkedIn, entre autres, nous aident à entretenir des liens. Heureusement, des événements organisés pour la communauté diplômée de notre faculté vous donneront l'occasion de vous retrouver, que ce soit à Montréal, Ottawa, Toronto, Calgary, New York, Boston, Londres, Paris ou Hong Kong. Vous assisterez aux réunions organisées par le Young Alumni Board. Plusieurs parmi vous resteront en contact avec moi sur Twitter. À titre de diplômé, vous parviendrez avec plus ou moins de difficultés à me tutoyer. Comme étudiant et étudiante, vous avez profité de la générosité des cohortes précédentes. J'espère que vous en ferez de même, que ce soit comme bénévole ou donateur. It's not only you for whom today is an intense day. Your professors feel a heady brew of emotions as we watched our former students and research assistants cross the stage, wearing sneakers, dangerously high heels, and everything in between. We rejoice in your accomplishments, and we are grateful for what you taught us inside and outside the classroom. We may feel a bit of sadness because despite what I said about the McGill Law community maintaining ties around the planet, we will miss seeing you in Chancellor Day Hall. Et maintenant, un petit mot pour votre entourage. Merci d'avoir appuyé et encouragé l'étudiant ou l'étudiante en droit dans votre vie pendant ses études. Par ailleurs, merci d'avoir toléré leurs excès d'enthousiasme lors de leur découverte de cette discipline, particulièrement au début où ils commençaient à voir le droit partout. And now back to the graduating class. What have you learned by studying law? Knowing I would address you this afternoon, a dear friend of mine wrote, "If law school taught us anything, it's this: write persuasively, speak persuasively, honor your voice, and the spirit of those whose voice is, for whatever reason, silenced." In this year of Me Too, moi aussi, it's impossible not to think of the many who have felt unable to speak out in our institutions and places of power. I think my friend is right, but you might have learned her lessons in any excellent law faculty. What could you and have you learned uniquely here? Vous avez étudié, appris et vécu le droit d'une manière unique au monde, le trait distinctif de cette grande faculté. Vous en sortez habilité à penser le droit différemment que les diplômés d'ailleurs. Vos imaginations ayant été stimulées par la sagesse de plus d'une tradition juridique, étudiée en même temps. Nos diplômés me le confirment fréquemment, ils reconnaissent et recherchent l'empreinte milguoise. Vous avez été formés pour vous attaquer aux problèmes avec créativité. Vous abordez des défis de multiples perspectives. Vous êtes en mesure de gérer des situations traversant de nombreuses frontières et qui impliquent des règles formelles et informelles provenant de plusieurs sources. Vous avez donc de nombreuses cordes à votre arc qui vous permettent de performer dans des conditions incertaines et fluctuantes lorsqu'il n'existe pas de réponse juridique claire ou lorsqu'il en existe plusieurs. Cette empreinte migueloise vous aidera certainement que vous meniez votre carrière à l'échelle internationale ou au service d'une communauté locale à Kamloops ou à Rimouski. During your time up on Peel Street, you did a breathtaking range of things with your passions and amazing talents. You ran student-initiated seminars on subjects you chose. You performed at Skit Night and for Actus Reus. You organized countless events, ran the LSA and GLSA, mooted competitively, and managed scholarly journals, contours, and the Quid. You protested, cycled in the Christie bike ride, and offered legal information. You worked for the Human Rights Working Group and NGOs here and overseas, for law firms, governments, and judges. You engaged in activism and fostered community through the Indigenous Law Association, the Muslim Law Students Association, the Black Law Students Association, the Club de Poésie et Botanique, the Jewish Law Students Association, Law Needs Feminism Because, Outlaw, the Women of Color Collective, the McGill Business Law Association, the Food Law Society, the Law Students Yoga Club, and Rad Law. You worked for the wrongfully convicted and entered local high schools through our LEX program. Many of you handled paid work and caregiving, including dealing with serious illness. None of you gave birth in the faculty, but a couple came pretty close. Some of you rarely missed a coffee house, and others sought out quieter places. A number of you blogged, tweeted, and published op-eds. You occasionally tested the boundaries of civility on Facebook, experiencing for yourselves how the exercise of free speech affects community dynamics. Par ailleurs, tout comme vous, votre faculté évolue constamment. Plusieurs d'entre vous nous avez accompagnés pendant les rénovations de Old Chancellor Day Hall. Vous avez enduré les chantiers de construction qui ont paralysé le campus de McGill et la présence des policiers à chaque coin de rue. Puis en 2017, les travaux de rénovation pour refaire une beauté au New Chancellor Day Hall. Nous avons pris à cœur vos commentaires concernant notre programme. Nous vous avons entendu concernant la santé mentale. Vous nous avez rappelé que l'accès à la vie de la faculté, tant physique que sociale, est moins universel qu'il ne doit l'être. Hier, pendant notre retraite annuelle, vos professeurs se sont penchés sur le défi d'intégrer davantage les traditions autochtones dans notre programme, en tenant compte, entre autres, des appels à l'action de la Commission de vérité et de réconciliation du Canada. Bref, nous sommes très fiers de notre programme, mais nous l'améliorons perpétuellement. When I was in high school, a speaker told us that every successful person knew by age 16 what he or she would become. And this was very bad news for me. I had no clue. And if true, it would be bad news for the many of you who have no idea where your professional lives will take you. Realistically, many of you hold jobs that simply do not yet exist. On that note, our profession is changing rapidly. Technology is changing the work lawyers do and the business of law. Far fewer of you will stay in a law firm for decades than your predecessors did. Many of you will change jobs frequently from the get-go. If you have a job already, congratulations. It's your next job, it's not your last. And if you haven't got one, I trust neither you nor your families are too discouraged. Many of our successful alumni found rich opportunities by routes other than the established recruitment processes. However much you don't yet know, you probably do know by now your fundamental values, your nascent sense of how to advance your conception of justice, and which activities give you the keenest sense of being in your sweet spot. Listen to that, now and in the years to come, and reevaluate from time to time how what you're doing aligns with that. The legal profession holds great promise. Some say there are too many lawyers, and yet our society suffers a great crisis of access to justice. I believe the severe challenges facing a globalized, interconnected world are ones towards which engaged citizens with legal training, yourselves, have much to contribute. I acknowledge, too, that the profession is beset by high levels of stress, family breakdown, and substance abuse. Take time to care for yourselves and your loved ones. You won't be able to care for the world unless you do. My colleagues here and I wish you great success, however you define and measure it. When you fail, as you will, as we all do, apologize when appropriate and don't stay down for long. When you pick yourself up, may you draw the lessons waiting for you, and may your bruises heal swiftly. Bravo à tous et à toutes. Donnez-nous de vos nouvelles et revenez nous voir souvent. Nous sommes tellement fiers de vous.
Thank you, Dean Leckie. Would the graduating class please stand? Demande à tous les diplômés de se lever. In my capacity as Chancellor of McGill University, I declare and confirm that each of you is now entitled to the distinction of the degree, diploma, or certificate that has been conferred upon you, with all the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities that are pertinent thereto. À titre de chancelier de l'Université McGill, je déclare et confirme que chacun de vous a maintenant le droit à la distinction de grade, diplôme ou certificat qui vous a été conféré. avec tous les honneurs, droits, privilèges et responsabilités qui y sont rattachés. Félicitations, congratulations. Secretary General, Ms. Edita Rogovska, will now make a few closing remarks.
Merci, Monsieur le Chancelier. Dear graduates, as you go forth in your chosen paths, may you share the gift of knowledge that has been entrusted to you for the benefit of all. Et à cet instant qui marque le début d'un nouveau chapitre de votre vie, j'aimerais vous laisser avec quelques mots du poète autrichien Rainer Maria Rilke. In a letter to a friend, Rilke says the following on the theme of patience and human development. Be patient towards all that remains unresolved in your heart. Let your judgments have their own quiet, undisturbed development, which must, like all human progress, come from deep within and cannot in any way be pressed or hurried. Donc, en vous laissant avec ces mots, je vous dis bonne chance, bonne continuation et félicitations.
To conclude the ceremony, please stand and join Dr. Tracy Smith-Bissett in the singing of our national anthem.